When I first saw her message, I read it twice to make sure I wasn't imagining it. Back on Monday, I'll explain later. That's all my wife, Clara, wrote. No emojis. No details. No warmth. Just a plain message from a woman who was supposed to be at her parents' house for the weekend. My instincts told me something wasn't right. Clara was never the type to leave things vague. For years, she'd text me every hour when she was away. But this time, her silence felt calculated. I stared at that message for a few minutes, my hands trembling slightly. Back on Monday. It was Friday. She was supposed to be home tonight. My heart sank as I remembered the small arguments we'd had lately, her late work hours, her sudden secrecy, and how she guarded her phone like a hawk. I'd ignored it all, convincing myself it was stress from her job. But now, that message felt like confirmation of something I'd been too afraid to face. I didn't reply immediately. Instead, I opened her social media. Nothing. No new posts, no tags. I checked her location app, but she had turned it off 2 days ago. That's when I realized she'd planned this. I could almost hear her voice saying, "You're overthinking again," but deep inside, I knew I wasn't. After an hour of pacing, I finally texted her back, "Don't bother explaining later. Enjoy your trip. It'll be your last one as my wife." Then I turned off my phone and walked outside to get some air. It felt like my chest was caving in, but at the same time, there was a strange calmness in me, the calm that comes when you stop pretending everything's fine. When I turned my phone back on 20 minutes later, there were already 12 missed calls from her. Then the phone rang again. I didn't answer. Another call. Then another. She didn't stop for the next hour. I finally picked up, not out of curiosity but to end the noise. "Daniel, please listen," she cried the moment I answered. Her voice sounded panicked, not the confident tone she used when arguing. "It's not what you think. I swear I can explain everything." "Then explain," I said quietly. "Because right now, I only see a wife who lied about where she's going and turned off her location. You text me back on Monday, like I'm some stranger. Explain that." There was silence for a moment. Then she sighed, her voice trembling. "I went with some co-workers to the coast. I didn't tell you because I knew you'd overreact. It's just for work. Work trips have hotel bookings, itineraries, and managers involved. I cut her off. Send me proof. Otherwise, this call ends here." I could hear shuffling on her end, as if she was moving around or whispering to someone. Then she said, "I can't send anything right now. My phone's about to die." That excuse broke whatever patience I had left. "Then let it die," I said, and hung up. I blocked her number afterward. The house was silent, but my thoughts were loud. Memories, suspicions, little red flags I'd ignored. Like how she'd started using cash more often, how she had a new friend from work she never introduced, and how she suddenly needed space every other weekend. The next morning, she started calling from different numbers. I didn't answer any of them. By noon, she sent an email, long and emotional. She admitted she'd gone to a beach resort with a male coworker but insisted it was innocent and professional. She said she panicked because she knew how it looked. But her words only confirmed what I already knew. Guilt always sounds like justification. I didn't reply to her email. Instead, I went to my lawyer. By the end of the day, I had already started the paperwork. I wasn't angry anymore, just exhausted. A love built on lies dies long before the papers are signed. On Sunday night, she came home earlier than she said she would. I heard her car pull into the driveway and her hurried footsteps at the door. When she saw me sitting in the living room, she froze. She tried to smile, but her eyes were swollen from crying. "Daniel, please, can we talk?" she whispered. "There's nothing left to talk about," I said calmly. "I already talked to my lawyer." I handed her the envelope, the divorce draft. She opened it with trembling hands, her tears falling silently onto the pages. She begged, pleaded, and even tried to blame stress, loneliness, and a stupid mistake. But I didn't argue. I had no more energy for explanations that came too late. I told her she could take her things and leave whenever she was ready. When she finally left that night, I stood by the window, watching her drive away for the last time. My phone buzzed again, Another message from her. I didn't open it. Some things don't need closure. Sometimes silence is the only reply that truly ends it. And though her calls never stopped that week, I never answered again. Because once trust is broken, no amount of explaining can put it back together.